Okay, so hi people. Well, obviously, I think by now we all know that Angel with the beautiful smile and the low cut. So today we'll be discussing something that I get a lot. A lot of times people ask me about um, graphics design, product design, UI UX. Typically I get questions like, what's the difference? Can I go from one skill to the other? And the entire point of this session is to answer those questions. Now, before I get started, I'm just going to say that feel free to drop your comments if you have comments in the comment section. Please just drop your comments. I'm sorry I'm smiling. It's not you, it's me. I'm doing a lot of things in my head at the same time. Um, so yeah, I think I'll dive right into it because I'll need to do this as quickly as possible so that I can go and rest. I mean, work, a lot of stuff. A girl needs a lot of rest, as much rest as she can get. So let's just dive right into it. Or do we wait a little for more people to join? Because I can see that a lot of people are not here yet. It's 8 o'clock. Okay, so let's just wait. Let's give them some, say, 5 minutes or less. In the meantime, I'm just going to type away my computer while we wait. So say, yeah, let's just give them some 5 minutes and then, ah, and then we'll get started. Um, thank you. Um, okay, so what are we going to be doing in the meantime? All right, so I'm just going to teach you all a song while we are waiting. Senta sana squash banana, wewe nunu mimi hapana. Senta sana squash banana, wewe nunu mimi hapana. Sorry, I'm a huge fan of Lion King, and it's one of the songs that was sung. I can't remember the exact scene where it was sung though, but the song has never really left my mind. And it's one of those things I just sing very randomly when, aha, Oluwatobi Adegoke. Hi, hello, how are you? Nice to see you again. I know you joined, I think, all the Design Week sessions, and it's really great to see you here again. Thank you. People like you make people like me feel very good, if you know what I mean. So, well, we still have 3 more minutes to wait a little, and then we'll get going. So, for those of you who've already joined, sorry, sorry, I apologize. I'm sorry. Some people, let's just it's knowledge we're sharing here, so let's be nice. Let's just wait, right? Let's just give them a few minutes. So yeah, Toby, hi, how you doing? Feel free to reply me in the chats. I'm actually just trying to stall here. So, aha, yes, he has replied. Ibrahim, hi to you too. How far now? My guy, how far? Oh, thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you. Yes, I'm a good-looking human. Um, Toby, yeah, Design Week. Okay, yes, yes. I know I saw your name and I know you were there. And thank you so much. Ibrahim, yes, you too. I know you joined all the sessions and thank you as well. So I think at this point we have more people here and we're just going to get started. So let me dive right into it. So the first thing I'm going to be discussing is more or less the definition of product design and the definition of graphics design, and then I'll also try to give you, hi Victoria, welcome. I'll also try to give you what's the word, the differences between each. So when you talk about graphics design, what you're talking about is promotions. Honestly, literally, that's just at this basic level, it's always just about, hi Charles, it's always just about promotions. The essence of a flyer, the essence of a banner, the essence of what's it called, a letterhead, business card, all of that stuff, all those things a typical graphics designer will have to do in their day-to-day um, job is essentially just to help a company get out there, help a product get out there, help a service get out there. The whole point of everything a graphics designer does is promotion. Now, somebody would say, but graphics designers do logos too. How does that come in? Well, how it comes in is a logo is more or less what I would describe it as is it's like a surname. Mm? So Apple, for instance, if you buy an iPhone, it has the Apple logo. It registers in your head. When next you're going to buy another product, especially if you've had a very awesome experience with that Apple, when next you're going to buy another device, once you see another Apple logo, you immediately know, oh, hey, there's that connection in your head, right? I had a great experience with this product, so that means all their products are great, and that means I'm also going to get another awesome experience with this product. So you find out that in the end, it's still what the logo basically does, aside the fact that yes, identification, it also helps them to promote. It's a very silent means of promotion, but it actually works because we buy names, we buy logos, we actually don't buy products. I use Macs, for instance. Well, Apple products rather. I use Apple products, and the first time I used it, I loved it, and ever since I've just been. You get, I've just there are other products that might just be as good or even better, but there's that whole I've used this product and I have come to identify or relate awesomeness with Apple products. So anywhere I go, anytime I'm trying to get a new device, a new phone, a laptop, whatever, even when people come to me, I'm more likely to say Apple simply because the connection. You know what I mean? The connection. So in essence, the graphics design is simply just, hi Charles, it's simply just promotions. A logo still helps you to promote. Product design, on the other hand, is different. In fact, product design as a discipline more or less started out as or well, what it used to be known as was the design of physical products, like this chair I am sitting on. So when you said things like product, you're talking about the design of physical products until, of course, the internet happened, the digital era happened, and everything went online. So when you're talking about product design, what you're talking about now, at least in terms of what I do, and in terms of what I'm talking about, is the design of digital products, things that people would use on their devices, phones, laptops. Hi, Martin. Hi, Martin. Phones, laptops. Well, these days TVs have operating systems. Just essentially that things that people will use. Now, while both fields have a lot in common, especially in terms of design. No, let me not confuse anybody. Sorry, I'll take a step back. Product design, right, has to do with products that people would use on a device. Your phone, your laptop, say your TV, maybe I know ATM machines have operating systems or something because I mean I've seen all those windows and stuff. So basically, when you're talking about product design or UI/UX, okay, I think I'll remove product design because product design is a whole lot broader. UI/UX good. When you talk about UI/UX, you're talking about all that stuff. Now, let's come down to what it has in common. What it has in common is the fundamental principles of design. It's the same anywhere. And that's part of the reason why typically graphics designers, a lot of designers started out as graphics designers and today they are into UI UX or product design. I myself started as a graphics designer and today I am into product design. So what they have in common is the fundamentals, what's the word? Design principles. Yes, so you have things like alignment, you have contrast, you have balance, you have repetition, you have proximity. Obviously, when you're going to you even use the same words, right? When you're doing graphics design, you're talking about layout. The layout, I'll use A4 paper. And that's the same way UI designer is saying, or a product designer, or a UI designer is also saying, now the layout of this, I'll use a, like in Figma, you see the dimensions. I'll use a 1920 frame, the layout. There's a lot of similarities because essentially it's more or less. I'm sorry. I really wish I knew if I was making sense or if you guys, I need to repeat this because I feel like I'm just running right through it and it might be very confusing. But essentially it's, okay, no, let me back up now. When you talk about the design of an interface, that is UI, it shares right about the exact same principles that graphics design has. When you're doing graphics design, you're thinking about alignment, you're thinking about contrast, you're thinking about colors, you're thinking about space, you're thinking about balance, you're thinking about proximity. In UI specifically, you're thinking about the exact same things. The same way that in graphics design, you don't want to, if you're designing a poster for a party, for instance, you don't, the boldest thing on that poster will not be the address of the party. The boldest thing on that poster would typically be the theme of the party or the name of the party. That's also the same way that when you're designing a user interface, the thing that is you usually make the boldest or the most captivating is also something that is very important. They are essentially the both of them use essentially the same rules, just that they are different places. While one is intended for promotion, the other is intended to solve a problem. Now, UI design is not art. The purpose of UI design is not for you to create something beautiful that people will look at that, oh my god, oh damn man, the person that created this though. No, no, no. UI design is not art. Promotional designs, on the other hand, a lot of times are art. The essence is to provoke emotions. The essence is to get people to feel a certain way about it. So you see that sometimes a design, you look at a design and it's so colorful. Some other times it's the word is not drab, it's more gloomy. You're trying to provoke emotions in people. In UI design, you're not trying to provoke emotion. Nobody sent you that. Nobody sent you to do that kind of work. Please. What you're trying to do in UI design is to help somebody solve a problem. So the problem is simple. I want to be able to stream from, I want to be able to stream on YouTube. How do we do that? You're not trying to splash colors. You're not trying to create mad effects. You're not trying to do all that stuff. All you're trying to do is help Angel Opoku stream videos on YouTube as easily as possible. That is honestly where the line is drawn between graphics design and UI. With graphics, you're free. I know I said like, and I know a lot of times more you just come up with some crazy concept, you try it out and it's mad. Now this I'm not saying that UI is meant to be drab, you're not going to be creative about it, you're not going to, but the point is that no matter how creative you want to get, you'd always have to bear in mind that what you're trying to do is solve a problem. Nobody sent you to come and do art here. If art they hungry you, go and get buy canvas, draw, look for art gallery, put it there. Don't come and be using UI to do art. Work, they are not, not work hand in hand. Because the truth of the matter is that your art will only serve as a nuisance. When somebody is trying to solve a problem, all they care about is solving that problem. As I came here now, as I'm streaming this video, if I came here and I saw some mad, nice artistic looking things, so creative colors, some nice effects, while of course being a designer, I would notice it, but it doesn't solve my problem. And because it doesn't solve my problem, it only adds to my mental load of, please, how do I do what I came here to do and do it as quickly as possible? Capiche? Thanks. I hope that we are getting the point. So this will take me to the next thing I'm just going to talk about. Now, from graphics design to a career in UI UX or product design, one of the things that you'll find, aside, first of all, changing your mentality, which is that you're not designing to promote something. You're not making arts. You're not trying to provoke emotions in people. You're trying to solve somebody's problem. And anything in that's your whole canvas, anything in that's your entire layout, anything in that thing you are doing that does not help that person to solve that problem is noise. Thank you. Now, one of the other things that comes from when you're trying to go from graphics design to product design is also that you now have to change your tools. So you're no longer using Adobe Photoshop, you're no longer using Illustrator, you're no longer using InDesign, you're no longer using CorelDRAW, GIMP, all that stuff. You're now using things like Figma, Adobe XD, Sketch. It's not as though Photoshop specifically cannot, even Illustrator. Yeah, I think when I first started, I used Illustrator a bit. It's not as though these softwares you cannot design UI interfaces in them. Excuse me. It's just simply that they are not equipped for that kind of thing. So there's a lot of limitations. I know on Figma, I have so many pages. I can create components. I can play around. Do a lot of really crazy, interesting stuff. But I can't do a lot of that in Photoshop, for instance, or Illustrator, simply because these ones were created for a certain purpose. Photoshop is mainly for photo editing, Illustrator so that you can create stuff, just create graphic designs. And while if you can work around them to make them work for you with your UI designs. You would only be frustrating yourself if you actually try to use these softwares to do UI design, because they were not created for that purpose. The process is typically harder, longer, and straight up just difficult when you have tools like Figma, which I am a fan of Figma. Yeah, Figma, proud Figma fan. I think I'll brand a shirt Figma. So tools like Figma help you to really do your UI design work and do it very, very, very easily. Now, something else you have to keep in mind if you're going from a graphics design background to a product design background is that while UI principles remain the same, right? Sorry, design principles remain the same. You would still have to learn a lot of things, because now the layout you're working with, the canvas you're working with is not what you're used to. Of course, designing for web or mobile comes with its own unique challenges. For instance, we have Android, we have Apple. So we have the material, Google's design system material, and then Apple's one, I think, is human something something, human guideline interfaces, or human interface guidelines. Yes, I think it's that. Now, these two design systems, especially, okay, now I'm talking about mobile, are very distinct. Of course, it's expected. They are created by two very different companies. Two, like, yeah, two very different companies. And because of this, they have two distinct design systems. So one of the things you would need to know when you're coming from your graphics design background to your product design background is, how do I design? If I'm going to be designing um, for an Android phone, how do I design that? So you have to kind of learn. It's not, I know that when I say learn material, I'm sure it's not a lot of work. In fact, you don't really have to learn it and have it offhand, like as such. All you just really need to do is, maybe when you're working on a product for Android, you just open another tab on your system and just keep looking at their guidelines as you work. It's not like you need to cram it. Nobody will ask you if you crammed it or if you know it offhand. I don't know it, honestly. I don't know it. Same thing goes for Apple products. If you're going to design an app for Apple, you're going to have to know their design system, know what works, know what is acceptable. Because I can't say this enough. Two very different companies, two very different products, two very different ways of doing things. And of course, there's also the fact that space for mobile, especially, you don't have a lot of real estate on mobile. So one of the things, well, this is not something you learn so much as something that you, with practice, you perfection. Oh, village people, with practice you perfect. This is something you actually learn. What am I saying? Sorry, hold up. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry. Okay, so with practice, you learn how to make the most of real estate on mobile. Honestly speaking, it can be very frustrating, especially when you have to go from web to mobile. I always advise people to go from mobile to web. So when you have to design mobile interfaces, phones are small. Whether we like, no matter how big, no matter how many pixels it is, no matter how good it is, a phone screen is still very small. So there's a lot of things you would have to learn how to fit into a very little space. You would also have to learn how to work with the smallness that comes with a phone. On web also, there are also best practices, and so these are things you'd also have to learn, things you'd also have to know, and you have to keep them in your mind. No, you don't have to keep them in your mind, you just have to know them. But these are things that typically with practice you get very used to. Web also has its own nuances as well. Yes, it's a lot of space. A lot of space could also be a problem, because if you have very little information, you'll find that the web interface can be very frustrating. Imagine having, because, so how do I place what? Where do I place what? So these are just the little things that you'd have to learn, especially if you're going from graphics design to UI design. Just UI. You just want to be a UI designer. Not something I'll advise, because these days companies are looking for the whole package. Nobody wants to hire 10 people to do something that they can hire one person to do. So it's typically advisable to be a UI designer and a UX designer. Now, if you want to take it a step further and you now want to learn graphics design, this is probably the only thing that is very, very different from a sorry. If you want to take it for a step further and learn UX design, this is something that is very, very, very different from graphics design. This is something that is nothing close to anything that you're used to. It's entirely different. You've not done this before. Now, at this point, I would say go and Daniel, please now help my life and just post it here. I can't really read all that. So, if you want to now dive into UX design, it's very different from graphic design. That is now something that you have to do differently. So what it means is that you would actually have to kind of take UX courses. Google UX certificate is super cool. I've taken some part of it and it's nice. You really have to pay about 18,000 naira a month. I know, but you can actually finish it in 1 month if you're very serious about it and you don't have anything else. You don't have much else on your table. Another place you can get very nice UX courses is on hey, what's it called? Interaction Design Foundation. Yes, Interaction Design Foundation has some very mad. They are super simple. In fact, they are perfect for beginners. It's not something that you have to stress yourself, assuming you've not done any this UX related thing before in your life. It's super, super, super perfect for beginners. I don't think there's anything I have to. Yes, I think that's about it. So I'm just going to be talking about how to get it started, or at least start up, or what you would need to apply to jobs when you've gone from graphics design, you've entered UI, you've done all the things you need to do, you've learned all the things that you need to learn, and now your concern is how to get a job. So I'll talk a bit about that, not a lot, but I'll just talk about that. In the meantime, please, if you have questions, just drop your questions. Hi, John Doe, I see you. Emmanuel, hi. Um, Daniel, Daniel, please post that thing you're telling me in the comment section. Stop stressing me. I cannot be reading WhatsApp chat this small. Please just post it in the comment section. I will see it. So at this point, I'm just going to say that if you guys have questions, just drop them in the comment section. Otherwise, once I'm done about this whole job thing, I'll carry my fine self and be going because, like I said, a girl needs to rest and sleep. It's about getting jobs. So yeah, I know some of you here might actually be UI designers already, you are UI UX designers already, and so you're looking for jobs. I know people reach out to me a lot and say, hey, I'm trying to get a job. How far? Okay. Well, what you typically need is, first of all, a portfolio. It's very important. People need to see what you've done. Okay. I know this is the part that people like. I'm seeing people joining back because I'm not talking about how to get job. People are looking for money. People don't want to listen to everything I'm saying. It's not that I'm talking about job. People are coming here to want money. It's okay. It's okay. It's understandable. So the first thing you want to do is get a portfolio. It's very important. Your portfolio is going to give people an idea of who you are, what you've done, what you offer, and what you can bring to the table. Now, when it comes to portfolios, I know a lot of people are like, what do I put in my portfolio? I don't know what to put. I'm just going to say this. First of all, please don't stress yourself. Don't, how will I say this? Yes, Charles, I said international, hey. No, I didn't say international design. I said interaction design foundation. So, so you need your portfolio. There's a lot of information out there about portfolios, and I'm going to say this from my experience, and because I've applied to a ton of jobs, and I got into interview stage, even though one thing. There's no one way to design a portfolio. Okay? There's really no one way. Different people are looking for different things. Different companies are looking for different things. Different design recruiters are looking for different things. So there's no one way, there's no standard way that you can say, if I design my portfolio like this, I'm likely to get more attention. No. Rather, you should be more interested in making sure that your portfolio is more or less an extension of yourself. It is something that when anybody visits it, they have a great idea of who you really are. I love black. My portfolio is entirely black. We just have, of course, white text because I mean it can't all be black, and then a few colors. Blue is a color I actually love, and then red because I mean passion. So what's important is that your portfolio says a lot about who you are. The other thing that is important about your portfolio is your case studies. Now, this is something else that there are a lot of rules, do this, don't do that. Okay, Favor, I'll answer you in a bit. A lot of rules and regulations around case studies. What I would also say about case studies is very simple. Show process. That's all they really care about. That's all any recruiter cares about. They want to know, fine, I'm here now. It's like getting to your house. I'm here now, I'm at your house. But I need to know more about you. I need to know how you handle this. And I need to know how you achieve the results you achieve. I need to know how you go from point A to point Z. That is what your case study should be about. So if you're the kind of person that is crazy about design thinking, for instance, like I am, by all means, go ahead, talk about your process. Sha, don't lie. Don't say I told you to. Please don't lie. Right? Don't lie about it. Say the truth. But um, let your case study rather show the processes you used. If you did qualitative research, please put it there. If you did quantitative, please put it there. But don't just write it like you're writing a textbook. Also write the whys. Because the whys are even more important to design recruiters than the how or the what. Now, why is the why more important? They want to know why you do what you do. What's the thought process behind it? Are you a robot that just does things because they said we should do it? Or are you somebody that deeply thought about the products you were designing and you figured, okay, I'm going to do this here because I think this is super important. For this product I'm building, this is super important, so I'm going to do this. So they want to be sure that you really think about the things, that you're doing, and you have actual reasons for doing what you're doing, that you're not just doing things because it's best practice. So at this point, I'm going to pause because I have a couple of questions and I don't want them to go very far before I answer. So Favor said, can I have optimized portfolios tailored to the roles? No. Well, Sha, it's mostly depends on you. There's no one way to do this thing. A product designer and I'm something else, and you want to have portfolios and you can afford it, you have the time to do all the case studies, all the things that go with having a portfolio, then by all means go ahead. But if you can't, just tailor your portfolio to the kind of job you're trying to get. If you're a graphic designer, you're trying to get a UI/UX job, your portfolio, I don't see why you should go there and post about letterhead you did or business cards you did. It's not important. Any design recruiter that comes there, you're just wasting the person's time. If you're a graphics designer and you're having a portfolio, it should also contain your graphics design works. Don't go and mix it up, carry UI. You want to show them that you're a jack of all trades. God bless you. Osama. There's no need. There's absolutely no need. Just focus on what you're trying to get. If you're trying to, like, you no longer do graphics design, you're now a product design, then the only thing that you should put in there is your product design work. And I'm just going to say this before I forget it. There is nothing wrong with faking it till you make it. If you have not gotten jobs yet, come up with projects in your head, projects you like, things you are, or rather products you're passionate about. Maybe you're passionate about solving the problem of weight gain because honestly, at this juncture in my life, I am passionate about solving the problem of weight gain. I've been trying, it's not working. Now, if you're passionate about solving the problem of weight gain, put that in your portfolio. Put it there. Come up with an idea how I built an app. The essence of this app is to help people that are very slim gain weight. Yes, it's not real, but the thing you can do is to make sure that since that product is all in your head, do all the processes you should do, even though that product will not be launched eventually. So find slim people, talk to them, do qualitative research, do quantitative research, do impact maps, do user personas, gather all these things together, put it in your portfolio. When an interviewer asks you about it, you say, A lot of the times they wouldn't ask you what is real and what isn't. But the point is that you have a case study in your portfolio that shows what you can actually do, that shows your process. That is even what is important, not if it is real or if it is not real. Thank you. Now I'm going to answer the next question. Okay, please again, what's the site for beginners? Um, two two places you can go to. You can just type Google UX certificate on Google. Sorry. But the name of the course, honestly, is Google UX certificates. Just go to Google, you type it in there, you see it. Or you can look for Interaction Design Foundation. Thank you. So I was talking about portfolios. So portfolio for your portfolio, don't forget. What's important is your portfolio should be an extension of who you are. Two, it should have case studies that show process. As far as showing process goes, don't just show the what's and the hows, show the whys. The whys are very important. Now, after you have a portfolio, there are other ways you could look for jobs. So you could try. Okay, there are two ways I do. Every time I have to look for a job, there are two ways I go about it. One way is to cold emails, rather cold chats. I do research. For example, I like Hotjar as a company, and I would love to work there. I'll just research who is the design head of design or the head of design, or sometimes CEO. You chat the person up. Hey, I'm so and so. I like your company and I love to work here. But always add a link to your portfolio, because as a designer, that's the most important thing to anybody who wants to hire you. Your portfolio is super important. So yes, I am a designer. I do this. So I've done this before. Here's a link to my portfolio. Please take a look at it and let me know how it goes. Well, some people will answer you, some other people will not, but you will not die. I mean, ignoring someone has never killed anybody. If I tell you how many people have ignored in this my life, you'll be shocked. So you just try that. The second thing you can also do is go on Angel List and apply. That is angel.co. So you can just go there and apply for jobs. I honestly prefer Angel List because I think it's super easy. You almost always are guaranteed of getting a reply from the companies you apply to. So it makes your life a whole lot easier. You can track the companies you've applied to. You can follow up. Angel List is super chill. Not to mention you can really narrow down your search, and then they have this whole filter thing where you would see jobs. So for example, if you see a job that's hiring remotely, you would also know where they want to hire from. So if they are willing to hire from Africa, you would see it. If they are not willing to hire from Africa, you would also see it. So you don't go wasting your time applying to companies and jobs that are not in any way interested in you and having heartbreak emails every morning or afternoon or night, as the case may be. So at this juncture, I hope I have been able to convince you and not to confuse you. I hope I have been able to explain graphic design to you, and also explain its relationship with product design and how you can go from a career in graphic design to a career in product design. So to wrap this all up, I'm just going to say what I said in the beginning. Graphic design and product design, or at least UI design, which is a part of product design, share the fundamental principles of design. So if you've been doing graphics before, the chances that you can actually do UI and do a great job of it super easy without a lot of hassle is very high. So if you're coming from a graphics design background, don't let anybody tell you that it's impossible. It's super easy for you. You can go from graphics design, UI, UX, or product design, or UI or UX, anyone. It's super easy. Two, product design is not art. You're trying to solve a problem. Always keep that in mind. That's the most important thing. I'm sorry, I'm so fine. Oh my god. So yes, product design, you're trying to solve a problem. You're actually trying to solve a problem. That's what you should keep in mind. It's not like graphics design where you're trying to create art or something nice, something provoking. The goal of designing, as far as product design goes, is not to create something nice. It is to solve a problem. You would also have to learn about web designing for web, designing for Android phones, as well as Apple phones. That is iPhones. You would have to learn these things. You don't have to have them off head. It's not that tedious. In fact, these days a lot of applications cut across. They are now hey, there's a word for it. They are There's something it's called hybrid. I think it's hybrid. They're now hybrid, so you may not necessarily always have to go and look for Google Material design system, or look for eBay. Thank you. Or look for Apple's design system. A lot of the apps these days are just hybrid, so you may never really have to go through all that. But still, it's important to learn how to manage space and layout in both web and on mobile. Now, if you're now going all the way and you also want to add UX to the bunch of skills you have, by all means, please take a UX course. UX is not something that you'll fall inside, you just stumble and fall inside. No, it's not. It's something you have to learn, because at that point, you're talking about people, you're dealing with people's psychology, you're trying to really understand people, you're trying to really understand how people's minds work, trying to really understand how you could really solve problems. So please take a UX course. It's not something you just do. Even if you can't afford a UX course, there's a lot of people on this same YouTube that offer courses on UX. Yes. I mentioned two courses I think every beginner designer should take. They are super helpful. That is Google UX course and courses on Interaction Design Foundation. I think that's all I have. Thank you so much for your time. If you have questions, drop them super quickly. If you don't, I'm just gonna be on my way. 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 I'm sorry, I'm typically not a very serious person. So whenever I have to sit down here and be serious, I have to interject it with a lot of playfulness just so that I would feel more at home and relax. So yeah, so if you have questions, I'm gonna give you some one. Huh, I cannot check time again. I've closed my laptop. So I'm going to give you some 2 minutes to ask your questions. Ibrahim, what's wrong with you? Would I be open for collaboration? That depends on the type of collaboration. The truth is, I am swamped. I have a lot going on at this time, and I have been burnt out for weeks. And I'm looking to get a lot of rest as soon as I can. So that would mean that depends on the kind of collaboration, really. It depends. Just reach out to me, Ibrahim. For God's sake, reach out to me. You have my number. So just reach out to me and we could talk about that. So Ender, thank you. Ehizoje. Sorry, Ehizoje. I hope I did not pronounce your name wrong. So I think that's it. Okay, let's just wait till this 40 minutes. I like round numbers. Let's just wait till this 40 minutes. So in the meantime, I'm kind of I'm sorry. I'll try to behave myself. I'm sorry. I'm honestly thinking at this point about what to blame my misbehavior on, but I can't think of anything. But if people will not ask me questions, if people don't want to ask questions, okay, okay. I know some people here are doing. I have a number. I'll ask her. I will not answer you. I will not. Let me tell you, people like Ibrahim and Enda. If people have questions, better drop in. I would. If this session ends and anybody enters my DM to ask me a question, I will not answer you. Let me tell you people now. So if you have question, ask your question. If you don't also want to ask question, well, what do you go for, guys? It's 39. Okay, we have less than 1 minute to go. So I'm waiting for your questions and I'm counting down time. So there's 40 minutes on the dot so that I could go away. School dismiss away. School dismiss away. School dismiss away. School dismiss away. Yeah, so yes, end of violence, serious violence. I'm just telling you now. Better ask your questions if you have questions, because I'm not sure anybody that's actually my DM. I cannot come and kill myself. I need to be resting. So anybody that asks question now, if you are banking on entering my DM, sorry, let me be specific, please. Sorry, feel free to enter my DM as long as you don't have my number. For the people that have my number, I'm seeing them and I know I'm talking to them and they know I'm talking to them. I see you and I know you see me see you. For the people that have my number, If you enter my DM, my WhatsApp DM, to come and ask me question about this session when you could have asked me here. It's 40 minutes. God bless you. I will answer you people. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining in today. I hope I really give you guys some knowledge. In case I didn't, please feel free to tell me that this was a total waste of your time, and I'll reevaluate and try to bring you better knowledge. So thank you so much for joining in today. Have a wonderful night, everyone. I'll go and sleep at this point. Thank you.